Well, Manoj Keramani is a research fellow at the Takshashila Institution. He joins us now from Bengaluru, India. Thanks very much for being with us. So, are these concerns about these concerns in the US over TikTok founded, or is this more about domestic politics in America?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Look, I think there are three things happening here. One is that, of course, there is domestic politics, and of course, there are genuine national security concerns, particularly after the chaos of the 2016 elections in the United States. And then there is straightforward strategic competition with China, where, we had the quote from the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson talking about market principles and fair competition. For the longest time, China has not been a market for fair competition. So there are concerns around reciprocity also. And I think the potential to ban TikTok in the US is essentially a product of a concoction of these three issues as opposed to just one simple issue. If it was simply about who gets to control the narrative, 2016 showed us that you don't need to have a foreign government owned or a foreign government influenced platform for another government to interfere in one's elections. So I don't think it's just that. I think it's a mix of all these three issues, with strategic competition being the key part.
And TikTok in the US is extremely popular with people there, particularly young people, and it certainly has a devoted following among them. They've made it clear that they're not happy about this. How does that figure into all of this in terms of this actually going through and TikTok being banned in the US?
Look, I'm speaking from India. India banned TikTok 4 years ago. On national security grounds. India had a huge subscriber base. TikTok had a huge subscriber base in India. You will have alternate products coming out. You will have different companies innovating. Short video is here to stay, whether TikTok remains there or doesn't remain there. The people will adapt, content creators will adapt, the economy will continue. If there are people who get deplatformed because the platform gets banned, they'll move to newer ones. That's what happened in India, and that system continues to thrive. So I don't think that's something that people need to really worry about. The important thing is that, to me, this is about strategic competition, and what Beijing needs to take away is that if it can use national security for unreasonable restrictions on foreign entities, companies, and products, so can others.
If we talk a little bit more about the national security concern, because as you say, it goes beyond the United States. India has banned it, as you said there. What is the specific concern that governments have about TikTok in terms of threatening security? Is it about surveillance and that sort of thing?
I think there are two buckets that you can look at this. One is in terms of the content that is actually created, and whether there is transparency in the algorithm and how that promotes certain types of content. If you take a look at India, India is a diverse country with deep fissures on many different levels. And if you have a product which has a potential for foreign control, which can sow seeds of discontent with disinformation and misinformation, where you don't have transparency, you might end up in a situation where the scale and the speed at which these things catch on, you can create on-ground ripple effects which can be deeply problematic, particularly in an election year. On the other hand, you have issues with regard to data and data security, which, like you said, like surveillance, and the potential for governments to use the data of individuals, particularly in sensitive locations, of people who have sensitive vocations. That's the kind of concern I think that most governments have. At the end of the day, this is about transparency and trust and the abuse of national security by China to begin with. And then subsequently, like I said, others will catch on.
Good to talk to you, Manoj Keramani. Thanks for being with us.